Hi, I'm Sonia from Vidya Guru, starting a new session on current affairs. Current affairs, October 2020. That means this session is for the month of October. This session is in English medium. If you are not comfortable with the language, you can switch to the Hindi medium session. As you guys are aware, the students who have been studying from us, they are aware that we upload almost all the sessions in Hindi medium and English medium. This session, which is in complete English medium, is for our South Indian students, is for our Northeast students. We really don't want that language should be the barrier for any student. In terms of learning, we try our level best to impart knowledge, to impart information, to impart education to almost all the students. Because I feel that our South Indian students are able to understand my language. I'll start with the video. But before starting, if you understand all the questions, please press the like button for sure. I'll be glad. This sort of favor motivates me a lot to deliver more and more lectures, more and more relevant lectures for you. This session is very, very important. You'll get to know at the end of the session, you will realize it. Share the video with your friends and don't forget to subscribe to Vidya Guru's YouTube channel, because that's how you're going to get the notifications of our all exam relevant videos which we upload. To get the notifications, you have to press the subscribe button as well as the bell icon, which is just beside the subscribe button. That's how you get the notifications. I won't be wasting much of the time. I'll start with the first point, and that is on your screen right now. About the literacy of India. Obviously, if something happens, although this literacy data is for the year 2017 and 18, but please do understand, if the data is released in 2020, that is not at all a problem, but such questions become the important part of our current affairs session. The literacy as per that, India's average literacy is 77.7%. We need to actually classify it into male literacy and female literacy also. Yes, that happened in that literacy index. So male literacy is 84.7%, way higher than female literacy, which is only 70.3%. I'll explain that once again. I was saying male literacy 84.7%, female literacy 70.3%, just 70.3%. Highest literacy in terms of state I'm actually referring to. Highest literacy, where else it could have been? Kerala. So 96.2% literacy rate in Kerala, and the lowest literacy rate is in Andhra Pradesh. Something different happened this time, but Andhra Pradesh with 66.4%. Kerala on top. Usually, I'm not saying every time, but usually or maximum time we see that Kerala remains on top, and we feel happy about it because we need to follow Kerala. Okay, let's move to the other question with India's highest literacy to Jacinda Ardern now. Jacinda Ardern, we all know she is the Prime Minister of New Zealand, but she has got one more term as the Prime Minister of New Zealand. She was the Prime Minister of New Zealand. She has been re-elected. We hear a lot about this lady, that she has done this, she has done that. So she has become very famous. Even in our country, many people know about her. She got re-elected. But that's not the important part, because I know you know about that too. She belongs to Labour Party. That is the question I'm teaching you here. The party of Jacinda Ardern can be there in your exam. She belongs to Labour Party. Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Zubair Al Sabah. I'll say that again. Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Zubair Al Sabah. He has become the new Emir of Kuwait. And you'll find people calling it Amir. It is not Amir. It is generally pronounced as Emir. Or otherwise you can pronounce it either ways. I don't have any problem. What I'm teaching is Emir. Emir is actually the title given to Muslim rulers primarily. So you need to be aware. Kuwait has a Muslim ruler, Emir, and the new Emir is Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Zubair Al Sabah. I actually pronounce the name often to make you learn that. Believe me, I can read it once and I can move ahead. But my purpose is, by calling it Sheikh Nawaf and Ahmed and Zubair and Sabah, you'll be able to keep it in your mind. Let's move to the other question. On your screen, Right now, just look at it. Har ghar jal. Although these words are in Hindi, but I feel that you are able to understand at least this much. Har ghar jal. All the houses will have a tap, will have a connection of water, easy access to water. That is the purpose of Har Ghar Jal. So first state which actually became able to achieve such a target, and that has become Goa. So first Har Ghar Jal state in India, Goa. Goa has provided tap water connection to every rural household also. That's what I'm trying to teach you here. See, if towns have, if cities have, there's something different to it. Even rural households have actually got the tap connection, tap water access to tap water. Now I have to talk about the Union Ministry of Jal Shakti, because there's a new ministry brought up by the government, that is Jal Shakti Ministry. Who leads that? Because that person becomes important here. His name is Gajendra Singh Shekhawat. I'll move to the other question. Okay, India's rank on Global Hunger Index. Our situation is very sad. We are on 94th rank. Please understand that the condition is very serious. I've written that and read it carefully. Serious hunger is there in India. We are on 94th rank. You have to keep that rank in your mind. But whenever I actually talk about a report or index, I generally say that whosoever prepares or publishes that index becomes important. The organization who stood on top remains important. And what remained the rank of India, that is also important. But I want to tell you something here, something different. And that is, they did not allot the rank 1 to some country. They have actually made them 1 to 17 only. First 17, top 17 countries were not assigned individual ranks. That's what I'm trying to convey here. But collectively they were given 1 to 17, 1 to 17, 1 to 17 rank. This is published by Concern Worldwide and World Hunger. Concern World Life, World Hunger. The name is difficult, I know that. India's rank is very supremely important for you because India has serious hunger. Even the rank is important from the perspective of your exam. Let's move to the other question. The other question is, author of The Battle of Belonging. The Battle of Belonging is the name of the book written by Shashi Tharoor. Battle of Belonging is the name of the book written by Shashi Tharoor. I'll move to the other book, and that is Deh Vechwa Karni. Deh Vechwa Karni is the name of the book. Actually, this is an autobiography of Balasaheb Vikhe Patil. Why Prime Minister Modi launched it? Why Prime Minister Modi was actually talking about this autobiography? That means this fellow was, an important personality. So that important personality, who he was, I'm going to actually tell you right away. It is written here on your screen as well that he was the former Union Minister of State, Finance and Union Minister of Heavy Industries also. Balasaheb Vikhe Patil, and his autobiography is, the name is a little different, a little difficult for you guys, Deh Vechwa Karni. Deh Vechwa Karni, Balasaheb Vikhe Patil's autobiography. Let's move to the other point. The other question is World Students' Day. I'm highlighting the word here. The word world here is important. Although we are talking about World Students' Day, which is observed on 15th October, it was actually allotted or it was done by UN, United Nations. But why it is even more significant for us? The reason is our erstwhile President of India, Awul Pakeri Jainul Abidin Abdul Kalam. That means we are talking about our Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. His birthday is celebrated on 15th of October. Just to commemorate that day, to actually show honor to his birth anniversary, World Students Day is actually kept on 15th of October. So it is a matter of proud for us. So 15th October is the birth anniversary of our Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. That is why World Students Day on 15th of October. There's something else on 15th of October. Nowadays we are just washing our hands. Global Hand Washing Day is also observed on 15th of October. And when I actually move to the 31st October, that is National Unity Day. If you are able to understand bit of Hindi, that is in Hindi called Rashtriya Ekta Divas. National Unity Day, that is Rashtriya Ekta Divas, is observed on 31st of October. And if I actually talk about Global Hand Washing Day, Global Hand Washing Day had an important theme as well. And that important theme was hand hygiene for all. Happy, when I say Global Hand Washing Day, that is hand hygiene for all. That is the relevant theme which you can easily keep in your mind as well. Hand hygiene for all. The other point is PM Modi to participate in 50th Independence Day. Must be thinking, whose 50th Independence Day is that? Of our neighbor. Oh, no, not that sort of neighbor. I'm actually talking about the neighboring nation. Bangladesh. Bangladesh got free 50 years back. They'll be celebrating their 50th Independence Day on 26th of March. Not this year, the next year. 26th March 2021. They'll be celebrating their 50th Independence Day on which PM Modi is invited. So he'll be the part of it. From now on, you need to be aware of the name of Bangladesh President and Prime Minister. So Prime Minister is Sheikh Hasina. We all know about this lady, and she, remained the Prime Minister for so long now. So Sheikh Hasina, Prime Minister. President is Abdul Hamid. Abdul Hamid is the President of Bangladesh. Let's move to the other important point. Okay, Zojila Tunnel. Zojila Tunnel is on National Highway 1. It will be on National Highway 1. It is going to connect Srinagar Valley and Leh Ladakh. So Srinagar Valley and Leh will be connected by this tunnel. The tunnel will be, why this tunnel is so important for us? The reason is it will be the longest tunnel road in Asia. Longest tunnel road in Asia, Zojila Tunnel, which is going to connect Srinagar Valley and Leh. When I talk about Union Minister behind it, not saying that way, I'm saying you need to know about this because Nitin Gadkari is the Union Minister of Road Transport and Highways. That is why his name becomes important for us here because we are talking about the road tunnels, national highways. So Nitin Gadkari is the Union Minister of Road Transport and Highways. Let's move to the other point. Okay, now I'll actually talk about Swamitva scheme. Swamitva scheme. There's a Hindi word Swamitva where we actually refer to the ownership of a thing. Swamitva, ownership. So Swamitva scheme. PM distributed property cards. Sounds strange, but that happened actually. Property cards under this scheme. This scheme is actually launched by Ministry of Panchayati Raj. Who's the Union Minister of Panchayati Raj Ministry? His name is Narendra Singh Tomar. I've said too much. I'll repeat that. That is, I'm going to repeat that. Even if I actually speak on a little speed, I repeat that because I want you to know. You have to learn it. When I wrap up, every question should be there in your mind. I was saying, students, that PM distributed property cards under Swamitva scheme. Swamitva scheme was launched by Panchayati Raj Ministry. And who's heading this Panchayati Raj Ministry? His name is Narendra Singh Tomar. Swamitva has a full form as well, which can be asked in your exam. Keep that in your mind. See, Swamitva scheme has a full form, and I was saying the scheme is Survey of Villages and Mapping with improvised technology in village areas. With improvised technology in village areas. That's the full form of Swamitva scheme. I'll read that again for you. Survey of villages and mapping and improvised technology in village areas. I'll move to the other question. Bhanu Athaiya. Bhanu Athaiya, India's first Oscar winner. Read the words carefully. Here I wish to say woman as well, but she was the first Oscar winner also for India as a costume designer. And why she received and why she became this Oscar winner? See, she actually designed the costume for the film Gandhi. Yes, Gandhi's director was Richard Attenborough. Richard Attenborough directed Gandhi, and Gandhi's costume designer Bhanu Athaiya got Oscar for it. Must be thinking this is the old movie, and why we are actually talking about this lady now, because she passed away recently. So Bhanu Athaiya, India's first Oscar winner, as a costume designer. She won the Oscar award for her work in the film Gandhi, and the Gandhi movie was directed by Richard Attenborough. Everything was important, whatever is written on this page. Let's move to the other point. Chairman of Indian Banks Association, IBA. We primarily know it as IBA only. So this IBA is going to be headed by the fellow who is already the MD and CEO of Union Bank of India. His name is Raj Kiran Rai G. No, I'm not calling him G to show something, some respect or something. His name already has G in it. That is why read it carefully. His name is Raj Kiran Rai G. That is his complete name. He is heading Union Bank of India. He is the MD and CEO of Union Bank of India. See, if somebody is going to head Indian Banks Association, that person must have a lot of experience in banking sector only. So he was from Union Bank of India. He was heading Union Bank of India. That is why he was actually made the head of IBA, Indian Banks Association also for the year 2020-21. Raj Kiran Rai Ji. Let's move to the other point. Standard term policy to be offered by all life insurers. Okay, what is that? The name of this policy is going to be there in your exam for sure. For sure. See, if I lay emphasis on some point, please understand that your school teachers have done the same. Recall those days when you were actually studying in colleges and schools and tuitions, when you were there in your institutes. Every teacher used to say very important, and you have to put a right tick on it, and you used to write very important over there. I am highlighting even more important points even in my videos, although I select a lot, but this question is very important. Standard term policy will be offered. That means standard policy will be offered by all life insurers by 1st January, from 1st January 2021. All life insurers are going to have that. All life insurers, I meant companies which offer life insurance, all those companies will have Saral Jeevan Bima. What is Saral Jeevan Bima? It is a standard term policy. Standard term policy means minimum sum insured will be 5 lakh. Maximum sum insured will be 25 lakh. But I wish to tell you something. We can go beyond that. That means we can actually, maximum sum assured can be more than 25 lakh also. But as you can read, there's an asterisk over there, there's a star mark over there. That means some exceptions are there. By following some more guidelines, you can actually go ahead. The limit can be increased also of the sum assured. But if it is going to be there in your exam, you're going to mark it the way I've written it. 5 lakh minimum sum assured, 25 lakh maximum sum assured. You are expected to consider it like that only. In which I wish to tell you, if you are 18 years old, you are eligible for it, but maximum till the age of 65. The age entry I am referring to, 18 to 65, that is the age entry for this term insurance, term policy. But maximum maturity age, not the entry age, maximum maturity age of this policy can be 70 only, not 80 or 85. Maximum maturity age is 70. Entry entry is 18 to 65, and the term for this policy can be 5 to 40 years. Which policy I'm referring to? The policy's name was Saral Jeevan Bima. Saral Jeevan Bima, which all insurers are bound to have from 1st January 2021. Let's move to the other question. Okay, let's talk about Slinex here. Read the word Slinex carefully. When I actually break Slinex, it is Sri Lanka India Naval Exercise. Sri Lanka India Naval Exercise, SL, Sri Lanka, I, India, N, Naval, and Naval Exercise. So Sri Lanka India Naval Exercise, a bilateral, that means two nations were there, that is why bi, because they are tri also, I know that. Bilateral exercise between these two nations recently held in Trincomalee. Trincomalee, if it is not in India, it is in Sri Lanka. You are able to recall, you may have read about this place. Trincomalee is a famous place. So Trincomalee, Sri Lanka, where this exercise was performed, was exercised. Slinex 2020. Let's move to the other point. Okay, the other thing is Bongo Sagar. Bongo Sagar, no, that is not the name of any song or something. Bongo Sagar is the naval exercise, again between India and Bangladesh, and held in Bay of Bengal, some northern part of Bay of Bengal, but important part is Bay of Bengal. For you need to know the venue of the exercise. So Bongo Sagar, you will not be able to relate it because Slinex is easier to learn. You can actually learn the full form of Slinex. But Bongo Sagar, I feel you will not be able to connect it if you don't learn it. Bongo Sagar between India and Bangladesh. And when I say Bay of Bengal was the place where it was conducted, coordinated patrol is CORPAT. You'll actually see it CORPAT only. CORPAT, when you read it, when you break it, COR is coordinated, PAT is patrol. Coordinated patrol. Also conducted with Bangladesh. That means India and Bangladesh were there. This exercise was also conducted. It was like 3rd of October when Bongo Sagar was conducted in Bay of Bengal. Like 4th or 5th were the dates when coordinated patrol was also conducted. Now let's move to the coastal security exercise held in Kerala, Karnataka, Lakshadweep. As in the coastal areas. The coastal areas, because this is also a naval exercise. Coastal areas, Kerala, Karnataka and Lakshadweep, there this coastal security exercise held, and the name of that exercise was Sagar Kavach. Kavach is shield. Kavach is shield. So Sagar Kavach was the name of the exercise which was conducted around the coast of Kerala, along the coast of Kerala, Karnataka and Lakshadweep. Let's move to the other point. INS Kavarati. What is INS Kavarati? You need to know that. When I actually talk about INS Kavarati, you guys are able to relate it with a naval ship, Indian naval ship, Kavarati. So Kavarati is basically a Kamota class corvette. I'll actually explain that completely, but read it carefully. What is corvette? I'll tell you later on. I'm saying INS Kavarati. What type of corvette or ship it is? It is basically a Kamota class anti-submarine warfare stealth corvette. Corvette is a warship, small warship, basically that sort of ship is corvette, is called corvette. So Kavarati is corvette, and I was saying it is a Kamota class corvette. And if I explain it further, I want to tell you the 3 more names which are also known as Kamota class anti-submarine warfare stealth corvette. They are Kamota class. The first one is INS Kamota, the second one is INS Kadmat, and the third one is INS Kiltan, and the fourth one is just there on your screen, INS Kavarati. There are students who will be able to recall that I've taught them earlier as well. Why I'm teaching them? Why I'm teaching them again? Because they got inducted. Earlier only the news was there. Now they are introduced. INS Kavarati is introduced in Indian Navy. INS Kavarati was recently inducted in the Indian Navy. That is why I'm teaching you about INS Kavarati. I'm saying therefore, Kamota class submarines I was talking about. As they are Kamota class, the first one is INS Kamota, INS Kadmat, INS Kilton, and the fourth one is INS Kavarati, which has actually recently got inducted in Indian Navy. So it is anti-submarine warfare stealth corvette. Corvette is a small warship. Let's move to the other point. Chairman of governing body of the International Labour Organization. Must be thinking there has to be a man. No. When you were in school, in your school, I feel that you can recall their teachers were teaching you about International Labour Organization. It is there in the books of NCERT. International Labour Organization. That International Labour Organization, India actually has bagged the chairmanship of that International Labour Organization. So the new chairman of International Labour Organization has become India. India has become that. So I was saying, now you need to relate it further. See, if India has actually got the chairmanship of ILO, which has its headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland, you may have read that in your NCERT books when you were in school. International Labour Organization's headquarters is in Geneva. Geneva is in Switzerland. And I was saying, if India has actually got the chairmanship, somebody has to be the chairperson, somebody has to be the head who's going to lead that organization. So Apurva Chandra, Secretary, Labour and Employment, he has actually been elected as the chairman of this governing body of ILO. ILO is the International Labour Organization. Let's move to the other point. Co-origination model. I actually talked something about it in the previous video, but I have not changed the name. Believe me. That means the body has actually changed the name. RBI is calling it as co-lending model now instead of co-origination model. That is why I'm adding a few more things here. If you could not understand, if I actually explain it, if you are not able to grasp it, you can watch that video to understand what is co-origination model. I'll be talking in brief here. Co-origination model is about priority sector lending. When you read the word carefully, co-lending or co-origination model, that means we are talking about the unity of two organizations that collectively they'll be lending money to priority sector. Like if I am a bank, I lend money to priority sector. I provide loans to priority sector. That's my job. I have to do it. RBI has actually instructed me to do so. I do that. I lend money to priority sector. But I am saying if it is about co-lending, that means NBFCs can also be the part. Our NBFCs, including housing finance companies, both of them, that means NBFCs along with the banks, can lend money to priority sector collectively. Only banks used to do that. Only banks used to lend money to priority sector. Now NBFCs and banks collectively can lend money to priority sector. When you are not aware of priority sector, that means such sort of sector like MSMEs are there. Such sort of sector is called priority sector where banks do lend money. Now NBFCs can lend money too, along with banks. That is co-lending model, which was co-origination model earlier. I'll move to the other point now. Minimum net owned funds for housing finance companies, although the limit has been raised, I don't wish to actually talk about the previous limit because you can get confused. So I'll be talking about only 20 crores, which has actually become the minimum net owned funds. The limit has become 20 crores for housing finance companies. Minimum net owned funds, they are supposed to have the minimum funds, they'll be 20 crores. But if I am a housing finance company and I lend money, and I lend money in a lot many sectors, but I wish to tell you something, that minimum percentage of total assets towards housing finance should be 60%. If I am a housing company, I have to lend more money to housing finance. Please understand that. Then only I'll be called a housing finance company, when I'll be actually lending money for the purpose of housing only. I'm saying maximum money, around 60% should be minimum percentage should be 60%. I'll explain that further. Once again, I was saying minimum percentage of total assets towards housing finance should be 60%. If I'm a housing finance company, I have to lend around 60% minimum to be called a housing finance company. And if I actually lend to individuals, so minimum percentage of total assets towards housing finance for individuals should be minimum 50%. Rest 10% I can lend it to organizations as well. I was saying, but to individuals it should be minimum 50%. Then I'll be called a housing finance company. That's a mandatory thing which has been made mandatory, for housing finance companies by the RBI. Let's move to the other point. RBI raises banks aggregate exposure limit for small businesses. Turnover up to rupees 50 crore, rupees 7.5 crore. What does that mean? Are you able to get that? Are you able to understand that? I'll explain it in easier words, but I want you to read it again. Probably you are able to gain something on your own. RBI raises banks aggregate exposure limit. Banks aggregate exposure limit. Bank has an aggregate exposure limit for small businesses. If you are not able to understand anything, I'll explain that. I was saying if I am a bank and I have to lend money to a company, the company has turnover of or up to 50 crores. So that company can get loan from me of 7.5 crore maximum. That is basically this sentence has the meaning. The meaning of it is, I was saying that if I am a bank, I have to lend money to a company. If that company has the turnover of up to 50 crores, I cannot lend 10 crores or maybe 20 crores to that company. I have an aggregate exposure limit. Bank has an aggregate exposure limit. Bank can lend money of 7.5 crores up to 7.5 crores only to that company if that company has the turnover of up to 50 crores. I hope you could understand that. Let's move to the other point. Smart. I know you guys are smart, but I'm here talking about something else. That smart is something else. That smart is basically a submarine weapon system, anti-submarine weapon system. That is SMART. If somebody asks you what is SMART, that can be asked in your exam. What is SMART? SMART is anti-submarine weapon system, but SMART has the full form also. This full form is important. It can be asked. SMART is supersonic missile, SM supersonic missile, assisted release of torpedo. You have watched a lot many movies, I know that, in which you've seen like some sort of war is going on where torpedoes are released by one submarine and the other submarine is attacked. So that torpedo I'm referring to in SMART. That T stands for torpedo, SM stands for supersonic missile. Rest you can learn on your own. Supersonic missile assisted release of torpedo. Obviously we are expected to release torpedoes, so R stands for release. SMART has the full form. SMART is an anti-submarine weapon system. It was test fired from APJ Abdul Kalam Island, and this island is in Odisha. APJ Abdul Kalam Island is in Odisha, from which SMART was actually test fired. Let's move to the other point. The other question is surface to surface supersonic cruise missile test fired successfully with an indigenous booster from Balasore, Odisha, BrahMos. That means I was talking about BrahMos. What is BrahMos? It is a surface to surface supersonic cruise missile. It was successfully test fired from Balasore, Odisha. Must be thinking what is new? We all are aware of BrahMos. But I was actually adding something to it with indigenously, with an indigenous booster. It was actually test fired. Indigenous, India made booster. It was actually test fired. BrahMos was test fired with an indigenous booster from Balasore, Odisha. I was saying it is a surface to surface supersonic cruise missile. That's what I was teaching you. Let's move to the other point. The most important thing is here in front of you. See, nowadays we all are actually looking for a health insurance policy. You are doing it, I am doing it, your family must be doing it. What important thing has been coming up, has come up, from here on I'll be talking about that. See, if I go to Policy Bazaar or any other website which actually, offers some sort of health insurance policy, I'll be actually comparing them. But I'll be reading a lot about them. I may get confused. IRDAI, that insurance regulatory body, has actually made things easier for people like us. They have actually provided color code to health insurance policies, and what this color code is and how this color code is important for us, things will be very easier for us. Please believe me. Because if you are a person, a normal person like me, who's not much familiar, with insurance policies, things will be easier. They'll be providing colors to insurance policies. Like if there's a green color provided to an insurance policy, health insurance policy, that means that policy is good for you. That is my perception, because it says that green color shows easy to understand policy. You can invest in that, you can comprehend things easily. It is a simple product. Green color is the symbol of simple product. Orange color, okay, orange color. If the color is orange, it is there on your screen as well. If the color is orange, then it is going to be moderately difficult product, moderately complex product, which you will have difficulty in understanding a little. Then it is red. It is complex product. Complex product, that means obviously things will not be as easy as you think. You will take time. See, now you can understand. If I go to the website of Policy Bazaar, where I actually see green, orange and red, I'll be able to classify them as simple, moderately complex or difficult or complex product. So this has been done by IRDAI. Color code, actually that was provided by IRDAI. Let's move to the other question, the last question of the day, and that is first state to have 100% digital high-tech public sector schools. Public sector schools, I'm referring to government schools. So Kerala, first state, Kerala has become the first state to have 100% digital high-tech public schools. Something new. We all eat vegetables cooked by your mothers or your family members. We pour asafoetida in it. And what is asafoetida? In Hindi we know it as hing, and it is an important ingredient in our food. But you need to be aware, first time in India it will be cultivated, and you must be thinking what I'm actually saying is not right. You can check that yourself. In Himachal Pradesh, first time in India, we are going to start the cultivation of hing. It was completely imported from other nations. We are actually this time trying to cultivate hing in our nation, and that part where the cultivation is getting started, that is Himachal Pradesh. So from here on, I'm going to wrap up. If you could not understand anything, you can actually watch the Hindi video, that is also there in the playlist. If you could understand everything, please press the like button for sure to keep me motivated. Thanks for watching.